Welcome, friends of the Greasy Shop Rag. Today we're going to take a look at a Husqvarna 562XP chainsaw. The customer complaint is that it's low on power. Now I've come to learn that low on power means a lot of different things to different people. And I don't even bother with a test cut. We just start digging into this thing and seeing what we got. First I want to see how it runs. Alright, so I've seen this before. I maybe even did a few videos on this before. You see the rim drive right here, and you see the chain right here. It's not in the rim drive, so it's just kind of jammed between the rim drive and the worm gear for driving the oil pump. And friction is making it turn, but when they drop it in a log, it doesn't want to cut decent, if at all. So it's low on power. You know, it might need a tune-up, sure. But the whole problem is he installed the chain wrong. If he wouldn't have done that, he'd still be running the thing, right? So here's our rim drive, and you notice those little grooves in it? Those are kind of like wear indicators. And if you look at the one on the left, the rim drive is worn beyond the wear indicator, which means it's time to replace the rim drive. I don't think this feature is found on all rim drives, but on these Oregon ones and Husqvarna ones it is. So we're going to reinstall this clutch drum with a new rim drive on it. We're going to inspect the drum. I usually wipe them out if there's any grease in there and we want to get that cleaned out of there. I'm also noticing that the profile of the drum is square, clean and flat. Now I'm taking a look at the clutch. That's not quite the same thing here. Take a look at the profile on this clutch. Come on, show us the clutch. There we go. So look where I got the arrow pointed. That's supposed to be square, clean and flat. Well, it doesn't have to be clean, but it's not supposed to have a curve in it like that. So I took it to the belt sander and I dressed it up. I should have replaced the clutch, but the customer didn't want to spend the money, so my hands were tied on that one. Now I set my caliper to the minimum diameter of the clutch, and after taking it to the belt sander, it still has service life left in it. So we're going to run it. We're going to use a specialty tool for running the clutch onto the crankshaft. And a few ugga-duggas is appropriate here. That clutch will naturally tighten as you cut or apply the brake while it's running. Man, I got background noise in the video that I couldn't get out. And now there is a plane flying overhead, making all kinds of noise. So here's the oil feed hole in the bar, and it's plugged up. And I don't remember if this is the side that he had feeding oil or if it was the other side, but either way we're going to clean it out. And now you notice I'm cleaning the groove in the bar, and I'm blowing the debris away from the nose sprocket. I'm not blowing it toward the nose sprocket and plugging that up full of dirt. And then I want to get the face of the bar where it mounts to the saw and the face of the bar where the clutch cover bolts on. I want those clean and flat. If you pinch a big chunk of wood or debris or oily mess in between there, the bar might not seal to the saw and oil might not make it to the oil feed hole of the bar. It might just leak right there between the case and the bar. So it's something good practice is always to clean the face of that bar before you bolt it on. And I'm going to grease the nose sprocket on the bar here as well. There's a little hole in the side of it, and you can just take a needle greaser and pump some grease in there. People will ask how often to do it. You know, if you do it every time you have the bar off, if you do it every time you put a chain on it, you'll probably be fine. So you see we're cleaning some debris from that clutch cover where it's going to bolt to the saw. That side's not as important because there's nothing really sealing on that side. Having that nut in there is kind of important though. Captured nut on the clutch cover, it's getting worn out, and the capture feature is not working so good. So right now I'm trying to get the tensioner pin here lined up with the hole in the bar right here so that I can take the slack out of the chain. You know, I've seen people kind of wedge that stuff all together and complain it doesn't work right. I mean, you got to use a little bit of common sense and get that tensioner pin in the hole of the bar where it belongs. Then you can proceed with tensioning your chain. And this chain actually could be a little bit tighter. It's well worn, plenty stretched. It's probably not going to stretch much more. And you see our new air filter is much cleaner than our old one, and that could have been a small contributing factor to the way it ran. Although he would have kept running it like that if he had the chain on the rim drive where it belonged. So that's all I'm going to have for you on the Husqvarna 562XP chainsaw that's low on power. Thanks for watching. Later.